People scroll the height of the Statue of Liberty every single day. It's not surprising that you only have 1 to 2 seconds to earn their attention.
Welcome to the Talking AI podcast, where we talk AI with both experts in the field and early adopters. I'm your host, Matt Page, and we're here to demystify AI for you so you can get some value from it. Let's talk some AI. There's one problem facing just about everyone using AI today, and it's what I call the blank canvas problem. And what is the blank canvas problem? It's essentially if you can do almost anything with AI, and by AI, you can replace it with ChatGPT, Claude, Midjourney, Cursor, whatever, you name it. What do you actually do? So when the possibilities are endless, knowing where to actually start is often the hardest part. And that's why I'm excited to have Dan Scalco, entrepreneur, creative strategist, and the founder of Digitalux and It's Better with AI, on today's episode. He's built one of the most actionable guides I've seen on solving this exact problem specific to ChatGPT's image generation tool. So going from just like a cool thing, hey, I can generate images, to actually having it provide real value in a business context for ads, you name it, all kinds of things. So in the episode, we're actually going to walk through his framework, do some live demos showing off how he thinks about prompting, how you go from boring to viral instead of in the image kind of context setting. And more importantly, this is an amazing example of how you put structure and process around how you use AI. And you can apply that to any use case. But welcome to the show, Dan.
Hey, it's good to see you again.
Awesome. Yeah, great to have you on. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
And for those that are on Apple, Spotify, when we get to the actual demo stuff, we'll let you know, but you may want to check it out on YouTube to get the full experience, but we'll be very descriptive as well. But before we jump into the demo and all that kind of fun stuff, I want to get your take, like this blank canvas problem. What has been your experience here? We had this like seminal ChatGPT moment. Have you experienced this? And then how have you addressed it with all the crazy tools out there that you can do any number of things? Like, how do you handle that?
Yeah, I think that's
Fire
actually
hose.
a really great question to kick things off with, because I think a lot of people jump into ChatGPT and it almost can be overwhelming. We have this, I call it like a magic box, so that we can ask it anything. But if you can ask it anything, where do you even start? And so I think we're so conditioned as users of the internet and users of computers to treat ChatGPT in the same way that we would treat, let's say, Google or any search engine, where we would just go to it and we would ask it a question and then that would be it. However, with ChatGPT, I think it's better to use it almost like a friend or a coworker or, like you said, a creative strategist. Try to give it a role to assume, and then from there, have a conversation with it. Don't be afraid to just ask it follow-up. Don't be afraid to ask it follow-up questions or really get into the weeds of what it is that you're looking for. That is the best, absolute best way that you can really be using AI in general, is to really iterate. Take an idea in your head and then iterate on it, right? Just try to use ChatGPT, this is the way that I use it at least, as like your second brain.
Yeah, that's such a good concept. You hit the nail on the head. So many people are still using it as Google, or I think like the most common use case is rewrite this email for me to make it sound better for my boss.
Right.
Or
So many people are using it for email, but an even better way to use it is rewrite this email and give me 3 different intros, or rewrite it in 5 different styles. So that way, ChatGPT is doing the hard work, and then you as the human get to come in and say, okay, that's the style that I want. Or maybe I'll take that style and I'll combine it with this style.
And we're going to get into some of this too, because like you hit on something, it's like this meta element. Flip the script. I'll call it, well, when we say ChatGPT, this could be anything, Claude, whatever, but have it ask you questions.
100%. One of the best ways.
Ask it to clarify things. Exactly. And that's where I think context is king. It's one of the most important things, and context can be anything. You look at a reasoning model, and the best example of this, I think, is like DeepSeek, because you can actually see its internal monologue thinking through, but that, like, it talking to itself is just adding additional context for it to better solve the problem, in a sense.
Yeah, 100%.
The single biggest mistake we see companies make with AI is they don't properly train their teams. We see it all the time. Companies roll out AI tools and expect people to just figure it out. But using AI effectively requires a totally different mindset and skill set. And that's exactly why we built training for every level of your org, from AI training for teams and executives to training engineering teams on our generative driven development methodology. Or if you've already identified your AI use cases and want to just prioritize where to start, we offer an AI roadmap and ROI workshop to help you build a clear plan. It's all about going from we should use AI to actually driving real value with it. Head over to hatchworks.com to learn more.
And that is really one of the most powerful. I love that you brought that up. Asking ChatGPT to ask you questions, because that is just going to give it more context to be able to give you a better answer.
And half the time, it asks really more than half the time. Really good questions, but it's
Yeah.
like these unknown unknowns I hadn't even thought about.
Right.
And it's, oh, that's a really good point. The other piece too is this like new starting line that's been drawn. Because I think if you were to like survey majority of the people out there, they will have the feeling that I'm behind right now in everything AI. So it's like, why even bother? But the reality is you've never been closer to a starting line in your life, probably since the internet came out. So
Yeah,
that's the
I
other
tell
thing.
people
It's
that-
like, it's been reset.
Yeah, 100%. I tell people that all the time is you are not late to the party. In fact, you are early. Even if you're, I can't tell you how many people that I talk to that say, oh, what is this ChatGPT thing? I've been hearing about this ChatGPT thing. Should I start using it? I'm like, yes. Yeah, because the quicker that you start to just play around with them, and I love this idea of play, of making it fun rather than everything having to be like, oh, we're using this to do this or I want it to be something that is fun for people, because that's how you're really you're going to kind of loosen up, and you're going to be able to use it in a lot of different types of use cases. But yeah, you're early if you're using ChatGPT right now.
That's the thing too. It's the element of play. Because I think a lot of people, they look online and they're like, they see all this stuff. It's use this master prompt I have, or use this exact thing. And it's like, how the heck did they even get to that?
Right.
But that's where they start. You just play around and you start to build up patterns, and you're like, you start to do them more frequently. And then you're like, oh, I'll just apply this on an ongoing basis. That's the best way
100%
to get started there.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. So I was chatting with my mom the other day. She's finally asked me, should I download this ChatGPT thing? And I'm like you, I do a lot of videos on AI. So she sees them. And she's finally made the determination that, okay, I'm going to download this thing.
That's great.
And then she asked me, so what even is it? And I like paused for a second.
Like,
how
how
do I
that?
describe this? So how would you describe it? Pretend you're talking to my mom. How would you describe it to her in layman's terms?
I like to use
what it is.
I like to go as broad as possible and tell people it is essentially, think of it as whatever you want to, in whatever context that you need to use it. So if you want to talk to it about your day to get clarification on some things that maybe went wrong, use it as your best friend. If you want to start a business, use it as your co-founder. If you're having technical support issues, use it as an IT specialist. It's a magic box. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like you could flip the question on the person and say, what do you want it to be?
Yeah, exactly.
And realistically, it probably could, in some form or fashion, do that. I led with my garage door was broken the other day and it helped me fix it. It's like random stuff like that you can do with it, right?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So let's dive into more specifically the image generation side, because you have this awesome guide that kind of steps through how do you actually get to a good prompt, good output. Maybe share your screen here and start stepping through some of the process. It's a really great example of how you start to break things down into a repeatable fashion. We get a little bit of and this is built with Gamma too, by the way.
Yeah.
So this is like AI tool. Is this your go-to?
Yeah, for presentations, honestly, nothing beats Gamma, because you can, again, because it's AI, you can use it in so many different ways. And going back to what we kicked off the podcast with, you're not staring, if you don't want to, you're not staring at a blank slate. You can go into Gamma. I know we're going off in a separate direction here, but I love Gamma. And I'm not being paid by Gamma to say this. I wish they would.
Yeah.
But
maybe you should.
I know. Yeah. I wish they would. But you can go in and you can say, hey, make me slides on this, and it'll just get the ball rolling, so that even if it's not perfect, and that's the thing with AI is, even if it doesn't give you something that is perfect, you at least are not staring at a blank slate, a blank screen, a
Yeah.
blank page, whatever it is, however you're using it, it can spur other ideas. And that's something that we're going to be going into today. So,
That's real quick. That's another, I think, mindset that needs to change too. There's too many people that are like, it's not perfect. This thing's garbage. And they just stop using it. But if it gets you 80% of the way there, the bar should be where can a human get it to? If I'm working with a human that's drafting something
right.
and we're going back and forth, it's the same thing. So like, people need to reframe like I guess their standards and expectations in a sense.
Right.
So they don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
100%. 100%. Really look at it as a partner and someone you can rely on to keep going back to follow up with things and iterate on. I love that word because that's really what it's best at. So yeah, we kind of did an intro on me. I love ChatGPT's image generator. When it came out, I was enthralled. I was just amazed at the fact that you could, one, create images based on literally anything that was in your imagination, but two, the fact that you could take a reference image, right? So I'm using my profile picture or a picture of my face to show you what is possible. And some of these have gone viral before, like we had the action figure. Everyone was turning themselves into action figures or plushie dolls for a little while, and that was fun.
Yep.
But it's here that you see the capabilities of what GPT's image generator can do. And these are just some of my favorites.
And just to go back real quick,
Yeah.
so for those listening, we have the Sesame Street style. We got what do you call them? The
Beanie Babies.
The one on the top right though, I was looking at this beforehand. It's like, what does that remind me of?
Does it look like?
Do you remember the movie The Brave Little Toad?
Yeah, so it's based on Disney.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, oh my God, that's that character.
Yeah.
Which movie from our childhood.
Exactly.
And also, by the way, we'll hit it at the end, but another great way to get the juices flowing. Dan has an awesome Instagram and TikTok. I think those are your primary ones.
Yeah.
If you search It's Better with AI, go give him a follow there. And he does a lot of like detailed how-tos on this stuff as well.
Yeah. 100%. I try to post about all this kind of stuff on Instagram and TikTok. So feel free to give me a follow if you find all this stuff interesting. So one of the reasons I put this together specifically for any type of business owner or any type of business, whether you're small, mid, or large business, is because in today's day and age, if you don't stand out, you don't exist. So people scroll, and one of the best things about doing this presentation, why I wanted to put this deck together, is because it allowed me to play around with all the images, if you're watching this on YouTube, are from ChatGPT's image generator, right? So I had
the Statue of Liberty with the phone and the Starbucks is my favorite.
Yeah. So people scroll the height of the Statue of Liberty every single day. So which is
that true?
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
It's pretty incredible. So it's not surprising that you only have 1 to 2 seconds to earn their attention. Again, this is backed by research, and that number is not going up anytime soon. If anything, it's going down with the amount of people that are now coming into creating content, creating businesses, and AI-generated content too. So you really have to be mindful of standing out when it comes to generating visuals for your brand. And now we have ChatGPT, which, as I said before, is essentially this magic chatbot, a magician that can take any idea, no matter what it is, and turn it into a scroll-stopping visual. And you don't need design skills. You don't need to be an expert. I think that's where a lot of people get hung up. They think, oh, I don't even know where to start. And if you watch this, I guarantee you will know how to go from A to Z when it comes to all of this.
Yes.
So, quick example. We got 2 images on screen here. We got a stock image of doctors all looking like doctors. And then on the left side, we got a Lego set of a doctor's family office. If you were scrolling on social media, which one would stand out to you? I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's clearly the Lego.
Yeah,
right?
and that is the beauty behind ChatGPT's image generator. It allows you to take these boring stock photos or boring photos that were shot on your iPhone and turn them into wild or luxurious or weird or crazy images that will capture people's attention.
Yeah, and the one on the right is like your traditional stock image that you can just spot from a mile away. But I'm curious, did you generate that one?
So that's
with
one
AI
of the ones I did not. I wanted to make sure I picked that from a stock image website just to.
Yeah, I was curious what the prompts would have been for that. It's create a generic
Right,
stock imagery
exactly.
of doctors holding
On a
hands.
huddle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As I've been alluding to, ChatGPT's image generator essentially gives you unlimited creative power. I'm going to go through three main examples of how businesses of all sizes can use it. The first one being organic social media, right? So I have on the screen right now a picture of a cold brew or an iced coffee put into ChatGPT, uploaded to ChatGPT, and I said, create image, turn our iced coffee into a superhero flying through the city, cape and all, with the caption, fuel your
Yes.
mornings. So even if you are a small business, if you're a one owner business, you run a coffee shop and you're trying to do everything, run the business, run social media, you can snap a photo on your iPhone, whatever phone you have, upload it to ChatGPT, and literally in one line get an image that looks like it was done by a professional designer. And this is like tip of the iceberg of what you can actually do, right? I'm trying to
Yeah.
essentially get the gears turning in people's heads. You can add your logo. You could say, or put your tagline instead of fuel your mornings. You can make it Dan's Coffee Company or Matt's Coffee Company. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So there are a lot of,
And that's a great unlock too, is it doesn't just have to be text to image. You can add a context with other images.
yeah,
And
100%.
that's another big unlock when you're doing this image generation. Any kind of context you can provide is just going to make it even better.
100%. And we're going to actually go into ways that you can utilize other reference images
Mhm.
to really make that image stand out and really make that image fit whatever your brand or style or whatever vibe that you're actually going for. Another use case for this, specifically when it comes to businesses, is email marketing. I know this firsthand because I've done in my digital marketing agency, I've done a lot of email marketing. And one of the hardest parts of email marketing, or what I should say, one of the most tedious parts of email marketing is actually the design. So actually taking whatever the idea is for the sale or whatever product we're trying to showcase, and then turning that into a design for an email marketing campaign. With ChatGPT, specifically their image generator, you can create these designs in seconds. So I'm on screen right now. I'm using Yeti's coffee travel mug as an example. I've uploaded to ChatGPT and I said, create a minimalist promotional image with a clean white background. And on the left side, show a traditional version of a product, add a visual effects to make it look outdated, dated, burned, or crumbling to represent being replaced. So essentially what we're trying to go for is have a before and after, or a comparison ad or a comparison email marketing campaign where we're taking the new product, the Yeti, and we're comparing it to this old, outdated paper coffee cup, and we want to make it look dilapidated, right? And then on the right side, display the modern product uploaded and placed cleanly and centered with shadows for realism. And above both items, you can include a bold title that says, out with the old, in with the new. And then below it, include a shop now button under the products. And as you can see on the right side of the screen, we now have exactly that. It did an incredible job in actually building what we were looking for.
Like the shading and the coffee grounds around the old cup is
Yeah,
just, it's
it is.
crazy.
The level of detail is absolutely insane.
Yeah. And the also such a good prompt you have there too that can be applied to essentially any product, because you have this base idea before and after,
Right.
the old versus the new. Like you could literally steal that prompt, replace it with whatever your product is,
Exactly.
and can create something like
So
that.
I'll let you in on a little secret. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
found another before and after ad, and I'm actually going to go into this a little later on, but I did exactly that. I took an ad and I brought it to ChatGPT and I said, create an image generation prompt based on this ad. I like this ad.
Yeah.
I want to create one, but make it for my style. And so what it did was it wrote the prompt that we're looking at on screen right now, create a minimalist promotional image with a clean white background. And that's a secret hack. Like you don't need
Such a meta hack.
exactly. And
Yeah.
going back to how we kicked it off, you do not need to stare at a blank screen. Wherever you're stuck in the process, I want you to think, how could ChatGPT help me get unstuck? That
Yeah.
is,
I'll give you another trick for the audience too. A lot of times I struggle with this. You're at the blank canvas, you don't know where to start. And there's something about physically typing something in the prompt that even feels like there's an additional barrier. Get your phone out or even on your desktop, turn on the dictation mode
right.
and just start talking.
Yep.
Because that for whatever reason is like a more kind of natural, free flowing form. So that's another hack you can do if you really don't know where to start. Just start like talking into the app or your desktop app and whatnot.
Yeah, no, that is great. I love ChatGPT's voice mode, specifically their advanced voice mode, which is available on the Plus plan. Something that I do sometimes when I'm like not listening to music or podcasts in my car, I will turn on advanced voice mode if I'm trying to work
Yes.
through a problem, and I'll just have a conversation with it. And then I will know that when I get home, all I now have a message with our conversation that I can refer
Yeah.
back to. And has been wonderful because you're not locked into typing on your phone or anything. You don't have to be in front of a computer. You can just have a natural conversation. And sometimes that's when the best ideas come out of your head.
Yeah, no, I know people that literally they do that in their commute. They talk to ChatGPT. I've done it a few times too. And it's fun to see where you end up.
Yeah, it really is.
Sometimes.
It's great. So the next kind of use case here is the one that I think most businesses will gravitate towards, and that is advertisements, specifically like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, and things like that, because those really the bottleneck for Facebook ads is generating, or has been, I should say, in the past, is generating visuals, right? So generating nice visuals like the ones that we see on screen right now. But with ChatGPT, you might hear my dog barking in the background. But
No, all good. It's a
yeah,
bark.
yeah.
We'll take it out with AI on the back end.
Perfect. But yeah, so as you can see, I essentially did what we talked about before. I took an ad that I saw online and I thought would match the style that I was looking for. Then I took my product photo and I simply said, this is a very simple prompt. I said, create image, create a 1x1 square Facebook ad using my candle and make it look like the attached Yankee Candle ad. Make the title introducing our new hotel lobby candle and add a shop now button at the bottom. And to be honest, this is the one that I'm like most, I guess not necessarily proud of, but I'm really blown away at the fact that it was able to take everything, the vibe. And if you're watching this, you can see, but if you're not, it really captured the essence of the reference image that it gave me with the image that it generated. And it did everything to a T. I mean, it is quite amazing.
It looks like a professional photo shoot, which is just crazy. And the big unlock with the latest ChatGPT image generation model compared to like DALL-E 3 is the text. It has gotten so good at text. And I believe too, I can't remember if I'm thinking Mid-Journey, but I think ChatGPT has this too, but you can actually go in and lasso or pick a certain area and say, I want to tweak just this, or it could be like just the copy or something.
Yeah.
So you can get it to the fine tuning elements.
Yeah, exactly. So if you get back an image and it isn't necessarily pixel perfect, that is one of the ways that you can get it to make very specific changes. So if you needed to change just one piece of text or update one little thing, you can lasso, click on the image. There's a little paintbrush icon, and then you can essentially just paint over what you want changed and just let it know. Just tell it, hey, get rid of this, change this. It isn't perfect.
Yep.
It isn't like I tell people this all the time. It's like ChatGPT. It's almost like when the iPhone came out. It is amazing, and we're on like iPhone 2 and there are 3 in terms of ChatGPT right now, it's amazing, but it's not 100% perfect. And I'm going to get into a little later on ways that you can fix little things. If there's ever any issues, ways that you can fix it.
And that's another mental model too, I think, is a lot of people see it today. They're like, oh, it can't do this. And they write it off. That's not the way to think about it. It's like the whole Wayne Gretzky's quote, you got to skate to where the puck is going. You just need to make the assumption it's just going to continue to get better because it is. So that's the frame you almost need to work within. Like the Veo Google model. I saw today that Will Smith is finally able to eat spaghetti and it doesn't look crazy. So people 2 years ago were like, oh, this is garbage. It'll never amount to anything. And now it's like that. Plus you can add audio to the video, which is crazy what
Yeah.
people are doing the past few days.
I don't think like most people realize how fast AI is evolving, not necessarily on a month by month basis, sometimes even on a day by day basis, where something incredible will happen on day one on a Monday, and then on a Tuesday, something even more incredible will happen. So I tell exactly what you just said. I tell people that all the time is this is the worst it'll ever be.
Yep.
Just think about that. What we're talking about right now will be the worst it ever is. And guess what? It's pretty amazing right now.
Yeah. We had Michael Liu, who did the whole vibe coded the free DocuSign
Yeah.
replacement on the podcast. And that's exactly what he said. This is the worst it's ever going to be.
Yep.
Just always have that in mind.
100%. So now I think it would be really fun if we went through an actual step-by-step kind of tutorial so people could see the thought process that goes into going from that blank slate all the way to actually creating a beautiful looking, in this example, a beautiful looking ad, right? So let's take the most boring, or one of the most boring products that everyone has, a toothbrush. So we're looking, if you're just watching this, we're looking on screen at just a blank, but it's just a photo of a toothbrush just laying.
And this is the toothbrush you use to clean a toilet.
Exactly.
With. Not a toilet brush, but like this is the one you get at the dentist that you don't use.
Yeah, exactly.
It's up being like the grout cleaner.
Right. You don't, exactly. It's boring. It's not like an electric, cool looking like Oral-B or anything like that.
Yeah. Can we make it cool?
Exactly. So how are we going to make this cool? And really what I said before is where we like to start this off is simply asking ChatGPT. And even if you don't know what to ask ChatGPT, you can even take a step back and say, upload the product photo and say, what would I need to ask you to make this look like a cool photo or make this look like an interesting ad, and then work your way there. But for this example, the prompt or the way that I kicked things off by asking ChatGPT was act like a world-class creative director. Always try to give it a role to assume, so that way it isn't taking a shotgun approach and trying to go as broad as possible. When you tell it to act like a creative director, or a Facebook ads expert, or a brand expert, it knows, okay, that's how I need to respond to you. And then tell it what it is that you want. So I said, act like a world-class creative director. I'm selling a toothbrush and I need a scroll-stopping ad image. Based on the photo I uploaded, write me the most visually compelling image generation prompt possible. Make it feel premium, creative, and eye-catching, like something Apple or Glossier would design. So you could probably guess, I actually used ChatGPT to come up with that prompt. We're getting meta on meta here. Once you have that prompt, the next thing it'll do is it'll spit back out an image generation prompt that you can then use. Now, this is the simple way of using it. What you could do from here, I'm trying to make this example as simple and easy to follow as possible, but what you could do is instead of asking it for just one prompt, you could say, give me 5 different options for the prompts, all unique, all different styles. Here's what I like. Here's what I don't like. You can get as niche and as detailed as possible with this. But as a starting point, you might just want to start with one or iterate on one. But then once you find one that you like, and so the prompt here that it gave was for generating the image, this is the prompt that it gave back, was create a high-end minimalistic product ad featuring a vibrant blue toothbrush based on the image uploaded as the centerpiece. Place the toothbrush diagonally on a pristine, soft white background with subtle studio lighting and gentle shadows for depth. Add soft reflections beneath the toothbrush for a polished editorial look. Above the toothbrush, include ultra-modern sans serif text that reads, "The future of clean." I like that. It really went with the Apple look on that.
Even like down to the font it's using, and it's creating copy.
It's getting very detailed. And again, that goes back to telling it to act like a world-class creative director, and then at the end, giving it examples of something that we liked. So Apple, Glossier. And so then to continue the prompt that it gave us, it said, make the text light gray and semi-transparent, blending elegantly into the background. In the bottom corner, add a small glowing button that says shop now in clean, rounded font. The overall aesthetic should feel premium, calm, and futuristic, similar to Apple product photography or Glossier skin campaigns. And so I took that prompt. There's a few different things that you can do. You can copy that prompt, open up another message, paste it in, and let it run. Or you can just say, great, take that prompt, create an image. So then
And one thing too for folks, if you're having trouble getting it to create an image, I think what the shorthand is like backslash create image, and that kind of lets ChatGPT know that, hey, I'm not wanting like a text output, I want an image output.
Exactly. Yeah. So there you can do that. Oftentimes I'll literally just write the words create image just because it forces it to go, oh, okay, I'm going into image generation mode. But yeah, that is something that people, they run into and they're like, oh, it's not generating images. It's like sometimes you need to give it like a push in the right direction.
Yeah.
So we ran that prompt, and then this is the image that it generated. And it's good. But again, what if we look at this and we say, okay, the text, and for people that are just watching this, the text, it looks like a very cool ad, but the text is a bit soft. It's maybe a little hard to read that text. The button, again, is a little tough to really see at the bottom. The product photography looks great. Background is great, but how can we take it to the next level? So and I'm gonna keep going back to this. What if we don't like the image? Tell ChatGPT to fix it. And even if you don't know what to or how exactly you want it to be fixed, you can download that image, or you can simply say in the same chat, I want to make this image better. What are some ways I want the text to pop more? Or you can just download the image and ask ChatGPT, what are some ways that this image could be, or ad could be improved, right? So that's what I did. I downloaded the image and I asked ChatGPT, what are some ways that this ad could be improved based on what you see in this ad? And so it, again, spit back out a prompt that we could then take and then run again to have ChatGPT update the image. And it says, make the image feel more premium and editorial, keep the same clean white background and add a soft gradient from pale blush at the bottom to warm ivory. Adjust the lighting to include a subtle spotlight from the bottom right to create more dimensional shadows under the toothbrush. Increase the contrast slightly to make the toothbrush pop more. Enlarge the headline text and give it a soft drop shadow for better readability. Replace the Shop Now button with a translucent glass style button that includes a soft glow around the edges. Maintain that minimalistic luxury aesthetic. And now looking at both on the screen, we have the before and the after. And I think it did a really great job of listening to what we wanted, and two, creating an ad that is almost exactly what we gave it in the beginning. Apple, Glossier, luxury, minimalistic.
Yeah, it looks really good. What's your take on the drop shadow? I love the drop shadow. I know some designers are like, no, it needs to be flat, no drop shadows.
If the ad calls for it, why not? It gives it a little bit of depth. I like ads where I want to reach my hand through the screen and grab the product.
It does look 3D, like you could literally pick this up.
Yeah, I love that style of ads. So yeah, I think it did a really great job. But again, going on to where people get stuck is, where do I even start with generating these types of prompts, right? So again, going back to what I said before, give ChatGPT a role. So ask ChatGPT, act like blank, act like a creative director, act like a brand expert. I'm selling whatever it is, and write a high-end image generation prompt. That's really powerful, is getting, and you can apply this to anything, not just image generation. You can apply this to writing. You can apply this to business strategy. Act like a business strategist, act like a McKinsey consultant. You can really take advantage of this little, I call it like a lever pull when it comes to ChatGPT, to get it, to guide it in the right direction of what you're looking for.
Yeah, I was going to say like that, like writing copy, writing a blog, social copy. Like you mentioned the strategy thing. I was doing some of this the other day, ideating on different offers. And I was giving it offer frameworks that I liked from different people that are great at creating offers. and it takes that framework and applies it to whatever context you give it. And it's just crazy what it comes up with.
Yeah.
And we had one the other day, a webinar we did, and we had almost half of the people take the offer.
Oh, that's
And it's
wonderful.
holy crap.
That's awesome. That's
You know,
so awesome.
and it was optimized by ChatGPT to get it there.
Yeah. So going a little deeper on this is something that I use ChatGPT's projects for. And so you can also use create a custom GPT. But what I like projects for is it keeps everything organized. So I do this specifically for my script writing. So when I'm creating a video for It's Better with AI, I actually have a project where I upload all of my scripts that have gone from videos that have gone viral before, and I have ChatGPT use those as frameworks to create the draft of whatever my next script will be. And it's extremely helpful because then it knows what my style is. It knows what has gone viral before. It knows what people like. It knows what gets the most views and engagement. And it's really helpful to do that kind of stuff.
Hey, by the way, too, if you Sora, which is like the video generator. I just dropped a link in the chat. Pull that up.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like the next thing you can take, this cool image you create, and you can turn it into a video in a sense. And again, this is just the beginning of it. But look, like it takes it perfectly from the image you created, and now there's motion to the candle, which then you could throw that in like a YouTube ad or something, like a video ad.
100%. And so, on Facebook ads, video performs exceedingly well. So when you can take, and this is great, I'm glad that you used Sora specifically because it's within the ChatGPT ecosystem. So it's very easy for someone to go from being on ChatGPT to then on Sora. If you're on ChatGPT, you'll see the Sora button up at the top left of your screen. You just click on it, and then you'll be able to upload your image. And then on screen, Matt's image prompt was make the flame from the candle and the image move with a slight bit of smoke coming up. And that is exactly what we're looking at. We're looking at the ad that we generated, but a flame and it looks real. If you didn't tell me that this was AI generated, I would be like, how much did you pay to have this done? Because it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing.
Yeah. And again, going back to what I said about iterating is now you can create dozens of ads and then create dozens of video ads. And now you can go throw everything into Facebook ads and you can start to compare like, okay, does the static image work well? Does the image work better? What's converting? And you can let that Facebook ads algorithm do its thing.
Yeah, I've literally gotten to the point. I'm curious your take here. I feel like I've almost become over dependent on AI, but it's just so good. I'm using it for almost everything I do in a sense.
Yeah.
I have ChatGPT open, or if I'm like coding something, it's Lovable or Cursor or something like that. But
yeah,
I use it for everything.
I use it for everything. And yeah, you have to be cognizant about how you use it, right? Because there are people and there are studies that say like it can, if not used the correct way, it can definitely hurt your critical thinking skills because if you're over reliant on it, as it is the one that is actually making the decisions for you, then it can be harmful. But on the flip side, if you're using it in the way that I've been talking about, is using it as a friend, using it as a co-founder, whereas you're not saying, you make all the decisions for me, ChatGPT. You're essentially the human element in making the decision. It's helping you come up with all these ideas, but those ideas started from your prompt and your initial idea. And then you're coming in and saying, okay, that's good. Let's combine that with this. And then that's, I think, how you should really think about using ChatGPT.
Yes, definitely.
And so
awesome. Anything else? I think that wraps up the guide, right?
Yeah, just about. The last things were really just you can upload a reference image and say, make my product like this. We went over that. And then you be specific about the vibes that you're looking for, luxury, minimalistic, things like that. When in doubt, always ask ChatGPT. If the image isn't perfect, this is oftentimes going to happen. AI, as we said before, it's like the first or second iteration or generation of the iPhone, may not be perfect. So there are ways around this. I like to, if it's like a person's face, and you've probably experienced this, if you take a person's face, put it into ChatGPT and say, make this person on the beach or on a boat or something like that. The person's face isn't necessarily going to always look like them. One way around
Yeah.
this is turn them into a cartoon, turn them into a Pixar character, turn them into a comic book character. This is a creative way around some of these little bottlenecks of ChatGPT's image generator.
Yeah, where directionally correct's okay in that context. So that's a good point.
And then the last few, if the layaut and the text isn't precise,
And you still got the candle showing on the
Oh, I'm
image
sorry.
if you're
I'm glad you told me that. Yeah,
Alright,
yeah.
cool.
Okay. And then issue number 2 is if the layout of the text isn't precise, you can what ChatGPT is great for is you can have it create 80% of the image, and then you can take that image, throw it into Photoshop, throw it into Canva,
Yes.
add your text. If you don't like the text or if it's messing up the text, because again, as I said, may not be perfect every time. And if it's messing things up and that's frustrating you, download that image without the text and then just throw it into Canva or Photoshop and add the text yourself. And issue number 3 is really don't be afraid to try a few times with ChatGPT. It may not be perfect on the first, second, or third time, but if you keep going back to it, you keep iterating on it, you will get something that is great.
Yes.
Then for inspiration, I said, this is honestly one of the hardest parts of all of this is where do we actually come up with the ideas to generate these images, these ads, these email campaigns? One, obviously, you just go to your competitors' socials, go to social media profiles, brands that you love. Facebook ads library is great for finding inspiration. So you can go on there, see what your competitors' ads are running and how long they've been running so you can get a sense of if they're converting well. Those are great. Your favorite brands. I also have, like Matt said, a personal image prompt library, which I'm sure we can put that link in the show notes where it's free.
Yeah, pull that up real quick. So we'll put that in the show notes, but those that are looking. So basically you've compiled like all of these awesome prompts where you can see what the output is, click into it. There's the prompt. Like,
so exactly.
A great way to get started.
Yeah, I am a big fan of just for people who are unfamiliar with ChatGPT's image generator, just sending them this and just, again, going back to that element of play, I'm just like, have fun. Turn your logo, business logo into a 70s logo. Turn you and your significant other into cute felt puppets. I turned my dog into a Polaroid photo driving a car.
Oh, no.
I turned myself into
Tijuana.
Yeah, exactly. I love to get surreal with it sometimes. Like I turned myself into a green army man, a Disney character. A lot of these you'll see are the ones that I pulled for the actual deck that we're on right now. But have fun. Go here, upload. The best part is you can click on one of these, fill out any information, right? You could put your brand name, right? I made it so that you could just put your brand name, and then you click on this and it sends it to ChatGPT. So if you're on your phone, it'll open up ChatGPT, and then you just paste in what it'll auto copy and it'll just paste it. You could just paste it in and run the prompt. It's so much easier than going back and forth with ChatGPT to try to come up with a prompt or anything like that.
Did you build this with AI, like an AI tool?
I built it, but because I have a digital marketing agency, I know how to I built this using WordPress, but I did use ChatGPT to help me figure out how to build this aspect of it. So so when someone puts in something, they can then click the button and then it auto copies, because I didn't know how to do that. And this was just a fun little build for me.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of fun to play with. And then honestly, Pinterest is a great place to just get ideas. Great just to you search up vibes or mood boards, and just a great way to get visual inspiration. It's one, designers love it. I love it. Really easy. And then to wrap everything up, you don't need a creative team. I love to say this, you just need a prompt. Use ChatGPT as your team. Yeah. It is now whatever you want it to be. It can be your art director, your photographer, your ad agency, whatever you want. Just tell it to assume that role and it will assume it. And now more than ever, you can take an idea in your head, whatever crazy idea it is, and just get it out into the wild, right? You can have ChatGPT take that idea and make it come to life quicker than ever. And I say every product deserves a great visual, no matter how boring, whether you cut lawns, whether you're in a service business or you sell toothbrushes, you now have the ability to make your product or service as cool and as sexy as Apple or any other kind of luxury multi-billion-dollar company. And
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be perfect. With ChatGPT, you can take an 80% image and then iterate on it in Canva or Photoshop or what have you.
Democratization at its finest right here.
Yep, 100%.
It's just insane. Dan, this has been awesome. I knew this was going to be good, and you fully delivered here. I know the listeners are going to want to know where to find you. I know we mentioned TikTok, Instagram, but like, where can people find you? We'll put in the show notes the prompt kind of library that you have, but what other things should we reference?
Yeah, so I have itsbetterwithai.com where I share AI tools. That's where the image generation library is. If you follow me on social media, my link in bio, whenever I'm talking about a tool or a free AI tool that I found, or really anything, and I reference my link in bio, you'll be able to find all those tools that I talk about there. So following me on social media is great because you'll be able to get a bunch of free content. And you'll be able, if you're watching this, be able to do fun stuff like create these types of images, whether that's personally, you just want to have fun, or you want to take your brand to the next level. And I'll include this deck as well. I can share this link in the show notes as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. I know folks will probably want to get their hands on this too. Dan, thanks for talking some AI and thanks for joining today.
This has been great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Talking AI podcast. If you enjoyed the show, give us a follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to leave us a review. We love those. For more info on Talking AI, visit talkingaipodcast.com.